on the NewsChannel 5 network. This is OpenLine.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Open Line. A topic tonight that I think a lot of you all are going to want to weigh in on. We are talking about what is going on in the school board and also Dr. Shawn Joseph's contract. We have Councilman Steve Glover here joining us tonight as our guest. He's been pretty outspoken on the issue thus far. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Not only as a council member, but as a former school board member, we're going to tap into that insight of yours as well.
Okay.
I do want to start by just bringing our viewers up to date about what's been happening today.
Certainly.
NewsChannel 5 Investigates has learned that Dr. Shawn Joseph started cleaning out his office this weekend, and coming up tomorrow, there will be a vote to terminate his contract. Of course, we're going to be following all of those developments. But we're going to backtrack just a little bit. And you spoke out last week, kind of as everything came to a crescendo. And the board started calling to, or at least a board member called to terminate his contract. The mayor spoke out, and then you spoke out and just said, everybody needs to chill out. Where do you stand as you sit back and look at everything that has happened over the past few months? Your thoughts?
I'm the same place. First of all, and I've been on the phone today also asking board members, please don't buy out the contract. Wait. Let's see what's going on. Put him on administrative leave. I mean, there are options you can do that will not cost the city, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It looks like if his contract is to be bought out, it might cost around $400,000.
See,
maybe?
I can't figure out why, because I mean he makes what? Well, in the contract it's like $285, and
right. But then with paid, you know, and deferred commission and deferred salary and paid vacation, it's about $365 or so, and we're looking at 15 months left on his contract, so it'd maybe be around $400,000.
Well, I think what we have to do right now is actually let the state do their job, let them determine where we are, and you know, if anything is you know, is accurate or not. I think administrative leave will probably be the best alternative there is.
So he would still be paid under what you're proposing. Bring in someone as the interim director.
Well, I don't think you'll have a choice. I think you have to.
Because he has said he's ready to go when his contract ends.
Right. Well, but see, that's a year, that's 15 months from now. So I don't think we need to pay money. Because if we do that, then we're giving away money that our kids may be able to use. So I think we wait. Let's see what's happening. And you know, I asked the school board to chill out. They didn't. You know, the resolution I had didn't pass. That's fine. I'm still out here fighting.
You did put forth a non-binding resolution in front of the council last week that said just everybody hands off. Let's see what the State Board of Education does, because they have recommended that his teaching license be suspended. He is appealing that. You did not show up for that. What happened?
What do you mean? I didn't show up for it.
For the reading of the resolution.
Because my ankle, I had an ankle replacement done about 4 years ago, and I tweaked it, and it was swollen beyond my wildest dreams. Anyway, short and long of it, I said, let's just, you know, try to figure it out, look at it, etc. So no, I was there, but I got to a point where
you couldn't stay.
No. Yeah. No, my ankle was, it was like a watermelon.
Lovely. That's never fun. Okay, let's talk about this money issue. If Dr. Joseph is just put on suspension, or you know, whatever you want to call it, he is still being paid.
Correct.
So the money is still being spent, whether he is terminated or he is put on leave, right?
That's correct.
So really, it doesn't come down to money, I guess.
Well, in my mind, I think that you determine what's right for the kids, rather than offering a lump sum to the director. We say, let's figure out what's going on. I mean, if it cost us, let's just say $100,000 versus $500,000, then that leaves $400,000 that could go for the kids.
Sure.
And so if you think that it's okay to spend the money on one adult versus 86,000 children, then maybe you need to think about why you're there.
Do you think that he should be in charge of this district?
I never thought he should have been.
Why?
I mean, I've
Why
said
from
that.
the get-go? What gave you pause?
He was never a principal, based on everything I've learned, he was never a principal of a high school. When you have roughly 20% of the students here in Nashville that are in our high schools, I just kind of think you need that kind of experience, because I mean, this is a big difference. I mean, this district is huge.
Yeah. And
so therefore I think it's critical that whoever's leading it actually has a full grasp of what they're doing.
And that is one of the questions I wanted to ask you about. As a former school board member for a long time, would you say about 6 years?
No, 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
It looks like we're going to be getting a new director at some point in the next year or two, no matter how this shakes down with the vote tomorrow night.
Maybe.
How do you think that process should move forward, and move forward more successfully, that we find someone who can lead this district?
Well, I think that's the part that scares me the most.
Why?
Because I think right now, with the board we have, it's going to be a challenge to hire anybody. I can't imagine anybody would want to come to Nashville and run the school system, because everything is so dysfunctional. There's a lot of things dysfunctional in our city. This happens to be one of those. We have great opportunities right now in our city to do wonderful things, but we seem to keep botching it. I mean, we do well at botching things. And, you know, and then our answer is, well, we'll just raise your taxes and charge you more money and do this and do that. That's a bad answer. We need to make sure we stay focused on how do we educate our kids, you know, how do we make things work right. And, you know, the most challenging part for me is the board is so right and left. And when I say right and left, I'm not talking about Republican, Democrat. I'm just talking about
splits.
There is no place in the middle right now.
Has it always been like that? Give me the history here, because I came in on the end of charter schools, and that was a big debacle and a big divide among the board. And then we moved right into this director, and it's been ugly for years.
Well, yes, because I mean, we seem to think that it's okay to play adult games. It's not. Was it a debacle? Yeah, it's been a debacle for a long, long time. Was it this bad? No, it was not this bad. We're now to a point that I'm not sure how we come out of this. We've gone into a dive and a tailspin, and I'm perplexed at how do we actually pull back and take care of the things we should be taking care of. You know, we have 86,000 children that must be educated.
Yeah.
We've got business coming in here right now that want, you know, workers that are looking for people who can do anything from IT to fix an elevator, I mean, fix an AC unit, whatever it happens to be. And we're blowing it. We are literally messing up from every aspect we have, because, and here's why. We're only focusing on the adults. An adult. I see no one fighting on behalf of the kids. Oh, we pretend like we are, but we're not. So
what is the way forward in your opinion? Because the school board members are elected, so they're going to be there for a certain amount of time, and then it's up to the voters. But we have to start now if the tide is going to turn here. So what is the way forward? Well,
I would love to tell you I'm real smart and that I know the way forward. What I will tell you is I think that we have to go through and look at what's working, what's not working. I think we have to talk to the state. I think we need to talk to, what the options are. You know, I'm not certain the mayor can actually run the school board, because frankly, we're not running the city right now. So we have major challenges every aspect of what we do inside of Nashville. So as we look at how do we move forward, I think the critical piece is to go back and look at what is it we need to accomplish, how do we accomplish it, and never take our eye off the ball on how we take care of educating our children.
This is Open Line. I want to include you in the conversation, and Jim is chiming in with us. Hi, Jim. Go ahead.
Yes, I had a few comments.
Okay.
First of all, I think the idea that in the last few directors, where they have been put through a personal interview with all these groups around the city, is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I don't know how anybody would subject themselves to going to all these different neighborhoods and letting the whole neighborhood interview you against everybody else. That's just the craziest thing I've ever seen. That's one comment.
Okay.
The second comment, I think that when it was elected school board was the worst idea that ever happened. Because what you've got now is a contest with a very small people with self-interest electing people, like the teachers union trying to get people on there so they can get more money. And I think that when the mayor had to appoint citizens that really cared about education, you had a much better board. So those are my two comments. I think the whole procedure is just, it's terrible, and I don't think anybody worth a toot is going to go through that. And when I heard this guy at these interviews, I thought he was the biggest con man I'd ever heard. And they hook, line, and sinker bought it. So I think it's just a terrible system, and that's my comment.
All right, thank you, Jim. But it kind of sounds like it's the system we have now.
Yeah, to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to remind you, this is Open Line. If you want to give us a call and weigh in on both what's happening within the board, also what should happen with Dr. Shawn Joseph, it's your chance. 615-737+ is the number to call. You serve on the Education Committee in the Metro Council. Chair it, and you know that teachers are asking for a significant increase.
10%.
Don't know that the board is going to put that forward in their budget proposal. What's the likelihood of this happening? We all know it is expensive to live in Nashville. The cost of living has gone up like crazy, and teachers have been denied raises the last couple of years. What can be done? What's realistic?
Well, I think, first of all, I mean, we made a mistake by not honoring the basic commitments. I mean, public safety, education, pay down our debt. If we go outside of that realm, then we're making a mistake. 10%, I don't know how we pull that off, because if we have to do that, then we have to move over to Metro employees and raise that by 10% as well. Just for Metro, that's $60 million.
Wow. And
so I don't know how we do it without raising your taxes. But see, because last year, they wanted us to raise taxes. I would not agree to it because we didn't cut anything. Let's take care of the basics and then look at if we need to raise your taxes, explain why. So 10% for teachers, absolutely. If we could do it, I would do it in a heartbeat. 10% for our police, our fire, our first responders, all of Metro, I would do it if we can figure out how to do it.
But it doesn't sound very realistic. So what is doable? Is it a 3%?
I think 3 is right now.
And then that's the cost of living, and then you have the step up raises as well.
Well, you have the steps that are already there, and so we should honor that. Look, one thing that bothers me all the time is we seem not to think we have to honor our word. That's a bad move. I mean, if you tell me you're going to do something, then I take you at it. If I tell you I'm going to do something, take me at it.
Right.
And I just don't think that's a good way to do business. So, short and long of it, when we look at how do we achieve this stuff, if we have to raise taxes, let's explain to folks exactly why we're going to raise taxes and exactly where the money's going to go. Let's just be truthful. I mean, and government has a hard time being truthful.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, we have several people lined up to take your calls. Angela, David, and Gigi, we have to sneak in a quick break here. As soon as we get back, we're going to hear from you. Stay with us.